Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, then please do not continue to listen until after you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. We are covering Death of Me today, which is on Netflix. And I don't know, I'm assuming it's a Netflix exclusive. Maybe not. Anyways, it's on Netflix. And that's how we watched it. And before we get into that, let's get to the tea.
Yep. So I am drinking the Detoxic Avenger tea by Brutalities. It is their tea for a cause. It's got rooibos, hazelnut, honeybush, dandelion root, milk thistle, cat's claw, astragalus root, whatever the hell that is, and freeze-dried raspberries.
Oh.
All loose leaf. Delicious.
Is this the first time you're trying it?
No, it's not the first time I've had it. It is delicious. And what makes it even better, 40% of the sales for this tea is donated, usually to animal shelters in the area, but they have also helped people with financial issues with medical bills for their pets.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Well,
it's an all-around feel-good tea.
man, I can't follow up with that. I'm drinking the gunpowder green tea by Numi, and they're fair trade. That's all I got. Though I know, like, the bag, I think, is more decomposable than, like, normal tea bags, and the bags aren't bleached like most tea bags are, which is kind of a disturbing thought. It's like, bleached. Like, how do you make sure that that's
aesthetic.
safe?
Yeah, you rinse it really, really well afterwards, then it's safe. And I'm sure the bleach is diluted.
Yeah, well, and then, well, even if it's safe, though, I wonder, it must have some sort of environmental impact, I would imagine, as well.
Maybe at the plant itself when they're using it and rinsing it. But
yeah,
if it's fully rinsed,
yes,
safe, then it should be fine.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like either at the plant, or maybe if it's like a smaller animal that's like eating the bag after, you've tossed it, if that could.
Well, again, if they've rinsed it enough, then it should be safe. Once it's you said it's biodegradable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so once you throw it out, it should be fine.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I wasn't talking about the Numi tea. I was talking about, the Numi tea bag is biodegradable, but like regular tea bags are bleached. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Summary. We're trying to cut down our episode time, guys, so we're going to just be moving right along. We can carry on this conversation after the podcast, I guess, if we so wish.
Let me get my caffeine first. God, get on with the summary, please. All
right, so you're following these two tourists, and the movie starts off with them mentioning this typhoon that's coming, and they wake up, they're covered in dirt. Their it's a Airbnb room is like, it looks like it looks like a tornado went through it, and they are like, they're like, we don't care what happened, we're just gonna go and try and catch the ferry. Well, their passports are missing, and so they're stuck on the island trying to figure out what happened. Pretty early on in the movie, they end up finding footage from the husband's phone of the waitress giving them this really weird drink, and the wife a pendant. And later on in that night, you see the couple have sex like out in the open on this in this yard. But then he like chokes her to the point that he like breaks her neck. You can hear it snapping, and then he buries her. And of course, they're both like, what the heck is going on? Like, she's standing right here, but she's covered in dirt. So it obviously happened. Like, what the heck's going on? So you're kind of like following, and the whole movie, I mean, it's a beautiful, like where they shot it in Thailand. I'm assuming it was actually Thailand that they shot it. Absolutely beautiful. And the soundtrack. But anyways, come to find out that the husband, she had seen him kill himself, but she thought it was a hallucination. But it ended up that he did really kill himself. And then she became pregnant, and she's like, what the heck is going on? I can't get pregnant. And they're like, well, it's the magic of this island. And they essentially are like, the reason why because they kept on repeating throughout the movie, we haven't had a typhoon in like 200 years or more. Well, the reason is because they have sacrifices to stop the typhoon from hitting the island, and she was the chosen sacrifice. And they kind of, but she ends up escaping and then dying on the boat because the pendant comes off, but then it's put on at the end, and then it's like a cliffhanger where she ends up like gasping for air. But so yeah, that's a pretty good summary, I have to say. But entertainment. I do you know where to take this one? Because I'm kind of at a loss for words.
I don't know, honestly. Like, this is a very, very trippy movie.
Yeah.
Very trippy. It gave me a lot of Serpent in the Rainbow kind of vibes. With, unfamiliar location. There's these strange ritual and festival things going on. There's all this like different statues and masks and weird things happening, and they're trying to figure out what's going on in that area. And also, I got a lot of Serpent in the Rainbow vibes. I love the journey that they took us on. I feel like they were a little dumb. And they don't know how to travel. For a travel reporter, by the way,
Yeah.
he sucks at travel. But I don't know. And I don't know, it was very creative too. The hallucinations where she's actually, I think, actually seeing into the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Because they said a lot of the things she's seeing is the past sacrifices trying to get her ready for the final ritual. So I kind of enjoyed the oddity of those scenes and everything. They brought a lot of really cool elements to it, but I'm not sure where exactly to rank it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it probably a tentative 6, maybe a bit higher. But it's just, there's a lot to digest in this movie.
Yeah.
It's very out there, guys. And a lot of the effects were really good. There were some scenes that you're like, please no, stop it. There's a lot of creep factor. You like feel yourself backing up in your seat.
Yeah.
Trying to get away from it. So that was pretty good. But I don't know.
So it's funny how you compared that movie to Serpents and the Rainbow. But for me, and I mean, they even mentioned the Wicker Man in the movie. And after like watching it, it's really obvious they took a lot of inspiration. It's essentially the Wicker Man, but in Thailand. Because it's like
But better.
Oh yeah. Like it's not boring, and it's trippy and weird, but not like the Wicker Man trippy and weird.
And still understandable.
Yeah, but
And coherent.
I am going to rate this one is 6.5, and the reason being is at least the beginning premise before they establish the sacrifice as a part of it is, being trapped in a foreign land that you're not used to, because you don't have this, precious piece of document that will allow you to return home. You're trapped. It's like that is like the worst case scenario. And so it's like I felt a lot of anxiety for these characters, and I felt like they did a really good job creating that type of tension, and then leading into a whole new different type of tension. And like, I feel like it didn't need to be quite as trippy as it was, but I think the main reason why they did that is that the characters are so confused. They're just trying to get off the island, but it's like they're losing, huge chunks of time.
Well, and they kept getting drugged, so that's
Yeah,
what I attribute a lot of the trippy scenes to.
yeah,
Is we're taking this journey with the characters, and
yes,
the characters keep being drugged.
yeah.
Over and over, the islanders just keep drugging them. So,
Yeah, because all of the islanders are in on it.
yeah.
But I will say one thing that was really funny, and it was, I hate to say it, kind of like sweet revenge in my mind, is whenever she left, and they're like, the typhoon luckily missed a lot of the main islands, but this tiny little island over here, it hit. It was just kind of like, yeah. But
That kind of made me wonder if this kind of ritual is happening on the other islands too. Not just on this one.
maybe. It does.
And maybe those were successful, and this was the one that failed.
Maybe. Maybe. I also the only thing I don't tend to enjoy these types of movies that are like, let's make another person's culture like scary because we don't understand it. Like I typically don't like those movies because they tend to be very naive, and I mean, in
Extremely.
some,
This movie is all for funsies.
yeah, but it's like I'm just saying in general, sometimes those movies can come off as very naive, ignorant, even in some extreme cases, bigoted.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know too much about Thai culture, and so I don't, I can't say definitively whether or not this would be offensive to someone who was Thai. So it's like I don't know if they saw this and they're like, oh yeah, like we have like legends of this, but it's not an actual thing. Or if they're like, oh yeah, they completely made that up. Like,
It would be an actual thing in modern times.
well, that what I mean by like an actual thing, as in like there's legends about it, and it's like could almost be as much of a tradition to kind of like quote unquote like act it out, because there are some cultures that do that.
That's fair.
But I don't know, I kind of got the sense that they had made up that particular idea.
Maybe.
But I don't
The
know.
idea of sacrifice to appeasing some kind of event, like a volcano erupting or giant storm or something of the like, it's not unheard of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. And there's hundreds of other movies that have the same kind of premise.
Yeah. I've never heard of Thailand ever being the focus though. Like
No.
from
It's always other more obscure places.
yeah, it's like as far as I'm aware, there's nothing I know about their culture that would indicate that they would even have ritual sacrifice in their past at all. But like I said, I'll admit that I'm naive to their culture, and I don't know for sure.
I know I am. I know next to nothing about their culture. Looked like a beautiful place, though. I don't know if they
Yes.
shot on
So
location
beautiful.
or what, but if I could just live there, that would be gorgeous.
Hmm.
That place
Yeah.
is beautiful.
I would love anyone who is well informed on Thai culture or is Thai themselves. Um, I would love to know how wrong or messed up they made the movie. I do kind of get the
Very
sense.
wrong, but we'd love to hear it.
I do kind of get the sense that they put kind of a bad light on that culture. But I mean, they did the same with the Wicker Man. Like they're like, oh, it's
Oh, yeah.
evil pagan. So not my favorite, but it's not like other movies of the same caliber haven't done very similar, if not the exact same thing.
But again, it's a movie. It's all for funsies. We didn't take any of it seriously at all.
Oh
We're
yeah,
pretty
of
sure
course.
most of it was bull. But
Yeah.
it was still an interesting movie and fun to watch. The interest or the journey that they took us on was very interesting, and the way they did it was way better than the Wicker Man.
Yeah, and I love the soundtrack. It kind of helped immerse you a little bit in that culture and area because they used a lot of I wouldn't maybe not Thai music, but Thai inspired music.
Yeah.
And then the scenery, they would kind of like do random like landscape shots. Absolutely gorgeous. Would love to. Now it's on my bucket list to go to someday.
And they really upped the creep factor in the movie with all the masks that all the kids were wearing.
Yeah.
In scary movies, 9 times out of 10 for me, what makes the movie creepier are the kids.
Yeah.
So they nailed it with the creepy masks and the kids running all around, acting very happy, and it's festival. And they probably don't quite understand what's going on, but they really believe in it. So, I mean, you see a couple of the islanders, including kids, giving her a hug.
Yeah, and then they give her gifts and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like this movie, it isn't. I know one of the tags that Netflix put, it's scary, but it's not outwardly scary. It's very unsettling.
Yes, it's very unsettling, and there's a little bit of creep factor. But a lot of the creep factor comes from, like, the unsettling masks, the quote-unquote hallucinations that turn out to be actual things, and, like, the gore kind of things. Like when the
Yeah.
husband cuts into himself, or when they're sewing her eye shut.
Oh God. I hate that.
That was unpleasant.
And I actually kind of like that scene because instead of outwardly being like, this is all what we're going to do to you, is that you saw those previous sacrifices and what they looked like. So as they start, you're like, oh crap, you know exactly what they're trying to do to her.
Yeah, it's basically telling her this is what you're going to become.
Yeah, it's a nice, more subtle way to do it rather than let's, explain all of this stuff with exposition and,
Yeah,
and take you out.
doesn't necessarily need to be said. You just see her grab the thread when she's tied to the pillar, and you know exactly what's coming. And of course, they go for the eye first. Of course. So they're stitching her eye closed, and you're hearing her scream and all, and they just keep cutting into just random snippets of shots of the eye where there's thread and all, and you're like, please stop, please stop, please stop.
Yeah, I'm glad that, like, they definitely show a lot, but they leave a lot of it up to your imagination.
Yes.
So
And that actually really helps in this situation, especially. So,
like, it was bad to
kudos for
watch,
that.
but it wasn't like, let's just have the camera stuck on her eye as we're sewing it. Yeah.
Yes. They did it very well. It really upped the factor there, the creep factor and unsettling.
Though, do they ever explain why they sew, like, the eyes in the mouth? Is that I would
Part
be
of the ritual.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know why that would be.
I want to know what exactly was going on because they said she was pregnant, but she kept saying that's impossible. They said we couldn't. So they never really explained what exactly happened, if they were trying to have a kid and they were having trouble, or if something happened and she physically couldn't,
Yeah.
or if maybe he got a procedure done so he couldn't, his soldiers weren't marching anymore, or what.
Well,
But
it definitely made it seem like she had some sort of infertility issue. Now, with what the movie was focusing on, I don't know how relevant it would be for them to go into those details. I feel like depending on how they did it, it could potentially take you out of what was
yeah.
happening. But I mean, she could have also just been like, I went to the doctor and they said that I was infertile, or something along those
Yeah.
lines would have been, I think, probably explanation enough.
Yeah. But I kept wondering it every time she said it, like, how are you that sure? But it's no big. The That's pretty much all I have to say on the entertainment. Most of what detracted from the entertainment scale we'll get to in the realism, cuz as always guys, we're nitpicky, and whatever we call bull on in the movie for realism, it kind of takes away from the entertainment of watching it. So, let's
Yeah.
uh let's go ahead and get to that.
Yeah. So, realism, I'm sure, as always, it's like I feel like I tend to be more detailed in the entertainment and you tend to be more detailed in the realism. So I'll probably be a lot more brief with the realism than you will be. The stupidity of these characters was astounding.
Yes.
Like not like losing their passports or not knowing that they lost them before they even left. It's like, I know they're running late, but for God's sake, it's like that's number one priority. And then like losing their
One thing.
luggage.
You need one thing to get on the ferry, and you'll need it to board the plane that
Yeah.
you need to get to home. So,
And then also like losing their luggage to the ferry. There was just a lot of dumb moments, but the rest of the movie, at least as far as I could think of, wasn't like too bad. So I would give it, because I mean, there's probably stupid people out there that would not think about that stuff. But the ritual sacrifice definitely is like, that's not really a thing nowadays, guys, and they gave you plenty of warning to evacuate, so I'm probably going to give it a 4.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3. When she's throwing crap in the luggage bag, and then she's saying they're late, and then goes and turns on the shower.
Why are you showering? It's like, I know you're covered in dirt, but you're late.
You know, the plane's not gonna wait just because you had to take a shower. Just throw on a change of clothes. Yeah, it sucks that you're all grimy and all, but travel sucks in general, anyways. So, I mean, get to where you need to go first.
It's like she should have used her time in the shower to check and make sure that they had everything.
Yes, exactly. Like, again, you have one thing that you absolutely need. I mean, apart from the boarding passes for the planes, of course.
And money.
And well, I mean, not necessarily. If you've already purchased the boarding passes,
That's fair.
then really you just need your tickets and your passport.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you have that in hand. If you take nothing else with you, you have that because you need that to get home. Clothes can be replaced, toiletries can be replaced, even your bags themselves can be replaced. but you need those. Also, her phone was missing the entire time,
Yeah.
and they never once thought to look for it. How many of you all are glued to your phones and know exactly where they are all the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the entire time they were scrambling to get ready and all, and scrambling to get to the ferry, and she never once thought, oh crap, I don't have my phone. Really? Seriously?
Well, but then whenever Neil called her, was that he was calling, well, quote unquote, called her? Was he then calling from a payphone to his cell phone? Like, whose phone was he calling then?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yes, very good point. Later in the movie, he does call, supposedly, after she's seen him kill himself. But sure. There's also no signal anywhere on the island, apparently, except for that one time
Where she got a call.
where he supposedly called her. After he had also supposedly told the Airbnb hostess lady that he had seen the video of him killing his wife and was afraid he would do it again. So he left.
But it's like we find out later that he had actually killed himself. So I don't know what the
Yes.
point of
They can't get their
that
story
was.
straight, honestly.
Yeah.
They really can't, but he wouldn't do that, so no. Also, if he had actually been scared of that and left, then all of these other opportunities for her to leave, she should have taken. I mean, if nothing else, you can meet back up at home. You're married, you have the same home. Get home and figure it out later. Or you'll meet up at the embassy if you don't have anything, because he was missing all his crap too.
Yeah.
So get to the US Embassy, figure it all out there.
And to be fair, it's like you should ideally have a plan in place on like if we are lost, where are we going to meet? Like you should have that all planned out before this type of situation, if it ever happens.
Yes.
Minus a human sacrifice.
Yeah. I am also calling bull on not a single person trying to tell them what is actually happening until toward the very, very end. Because on an island, I know it's a very small island, but there's going to be at least one person, a non-islander, that's been living there or is there as a tourist or something or works there or something of that nature that does not believe in it at all but knows about it and can tell them, oh god, you've been just swept away in all this. Nah, it's just the stupid thing the islanders do and all. It's this, they believe this, I don't believe in any of it, but hey, I got a boat. I can get you off the island or something. I'm
Maybe.
calling bull on that not happening at all. Or the kids letting something slip. Kids are like little alcoholics. They have no filter whatsoever. So you got to know at least one of those kids would have told them something.
Yeah. Like the little girl in the back of the seat. That.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh.
Now, I'm also calling bull. I know it's a very, very nitpicky thing, but it really, really bugged me. The scene right before the husband kills himself, while he's standing on the dock, there's this islander guy that is filleting a fish, and he's doing a horrible job of it. And it just really bugs the ever living crap out of me. He's lived on that island probably his whole life, and that's probably one of their biggest sources of food, like meat, is fish. And you're gonna try to tell me that he doesn't know how to fillet a fish to get the most meat possible? I'm calling bull. because there was a ton of meat left on that fish, and there was like one fish that he was flaying. No, no. Also, they apparently only have one cop on the island because that's the only police officer we've seen the entire movie.
Yeah. And they only have one doctor, too, as far as I could tell.
That I can kind of believe. It's a very small island. There's not that many people. I mean, there's a fair amount of kids and all, but not everyone's going to have a problem every day.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like it'd be mostly slow. Maybe the occasional checkup here and there. Now, if an outbreak happens, yeah, he'd be slammed. But
well, then, but also with like a tiny island, you tend to have less crime because everybody knows everybody. And if, they know that you did something, there's that community pressure on like, you better keep your shit together.
yeah, but I mean, what happens if he's asleep or sick or
Yeah.
like you need at least one other person.
But you could argue the same thing with the doctor. Like the doctor contacts sick people all day. He's bound to get sick from them eventually.
Maybe, but usually when situations like that occur, they send them to the mainland. He said himself, like, they don't really have much medicine there. So he would help for minor things. If it was a bigger issue, they'd probably send them to the mainland.
Yeah, that's true. What a pain in the butt that would be, though, to be like, oh, we can't help you here. You need to go all the way across the ocean to this main island. Yeah, that'd honestly be kind of terrifying because it's like, what if you have like something more extreme, like a heart attack or a stroke? It's like if they can't,
you're screwed.
Yeah.
But again, their belief is what their rituals and festivals do. They keep sickness away. So if it does actually keep sickness away, there would really only be need for one doctor anyway.
Yeah, and then of course there's I forgot what her name was, but the girl that owned the Airbnb, she said that she came to the island with stage 3 pancreatic cancer, and she it was either cured or at least like
she was suddenly healed.
Yeah.
So that's not a thing. And one of the biggest things I call bull on is at the very end when she's yeeting out of the island and on the little tiny kind of an air raft with a motor. Tiny little boat.
Yes.
That's like a life raft kind of thing. Like it's mostly air, but it has a motor. And she's getting away from the island in a giant storm. Yeah. They're calling it the storm of the year, if not the decade. And she's just speeding herself off.
Yeah.
And you see like giant waves and all coming. When they show her from the air on the little raft, I'm calling bull. That raft would have been ripped to shreds and she would have been lost to the depths.
Yeah. Yeah. There wouldn't have been a body to find.
Nope.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have even found the boat.
Yeah. And
they've all been gone.
What do you think about their argument on like the free will thing? Like I can see where they were coming from, but the main characters were also being pretty dumb. So
there's a lot of gray area with that.
Yeah, it's like I can see in some, like she wasn't trying every single option that you possibly could to get off. So, okay, maybe free will. But then at the same time, it's like she had no idea what was going on. So she didn't have the free will to choose what was going to happen.
All the information to
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Well, and they also kept telling her that when she saw her husband kill himself, that was a hallucination. And that he wasn't actually on the pier. It was just her. And witnesses heard her screaming, and there was no one else there, and she passed out and all this. So, which is it? Either he's fine and somewhere on the island, and what I saw was a hallucination, or he really did kill himself, and I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have the information necessary to actually make the decision for herself.
Yeah. Yep. That
But
to
she
be
did keep choosing to believe in hope and believe that her husband was still there and trying to find him.
yeah.
So it's real gray area, very technical. Technically, she did choose to stay on the island, despite there being a storm coming and all, but she didn't have all the facts and everything, and they kept telling her that he was fine and he just wasn't there.
Well, and then another thing that's really stupid, though, or I thought it was really stupid, is how dependent they were on the ritual. It's like first they waited so close until the typhoon to hit to even begin it. But so it's like, what if it failed? It's like you need to have time to be able to evacuate. It's like have the plan B, but they had no plan B.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them
just
died. Yeah, if not most of them. They showed a lot of bodies.
Most of them died, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a weird one.
It was. And it was a weird, kind of enjoyable, like, it was entertaining, but the majority of it was uncomfortable and trippy. But, that's what the movie was supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
So, if we were laughing and making fun of it, then that would be a different story.
It's a good one to watch. I don't know if I'll watch it again. I'll put it that way.
I could picture myself rewatching it one more time just to, since I know what's going to happen, see if I can put the pieces together a little bit better on her hallucinations. But yeah, it's not a movie. It's like it's almost like the Wicker Man or Serpent and the Rainbow, where it's like once you know what's happening, it kind of kills the movie for you. You don't need to keep watching it over and over again. It's like maybe once or twice, and then you're good.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I got on this one. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Just let us know what you guys think about the movie. And hopefully this will come out to someone who is either very familiar with the Thai culture or is Thai themselves. Please let us know your thoughts on this movie, what they like really messed up on, like culture-wise, what they had right. Like I would be very interested to know if they were respectful, but also if maybe they took some inspiration from something from the Thai culture, maybe. But yeah, it's like I am not familiar with the Thai culture having any sort of human sacrifice involved with it. But yeah. But anyways.
Yep. That's all I got. Don't forget, guys, to like and share our stuff, especially on social media.
Yes.
We did finally get over 100 views on Facebook. So Alyssa did watch Mars Attacks. We will have a compilation video out of her reactions to a lot of the scenes. We didn't have a watch party with this one just because there are so many people and with copyright issues and all, we didn't want to get in trouble. So I hope you guys forgive us for that. But we will post the compilation video of her freaking out to a lot of the scenes. So be sure to look for that, guys, if we haven't posted it by now already. And if you have any other suggestions on movies that you want us to watch and review, of course, please let us know. Until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy. Bye!